Parashat Tzav, Leviticus chapter 6 verse 1 to chapter 8 verse 36. Chapter 6. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall remain on the hearth atop the altar all night until the morning, while the fire of the altar is kept burning on it. The Kohen is to put on his linen garment, with his linen undergarment on his body. He is to remove the fat ashes from where the fire has consumed the burnt offering on the altar, and put them beside the altar. Then he is to take off his garments, put on other ones, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. The fire on the altar is to be kept burning on it. It must not go out. Each morning the Kohen is to burn wood on it, laying the burnt offering in order upon it, and burning up as smoke the fat of the fellowship offerings. Fire is to be kept burning on the altar continually. It must not go out. Now this is the Torah of the grain offering. Aaron's sons are to offer it to Adonai in front of the altar. So he is to lift up from it his handful of the fine flour of the grain offering, with some of its oil and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and burn it up as smoke on the altar for a soothing aroma, as its memorial portion to Adonai. Then what is left from it Aaron and his sons are to eat. It is to be eaten as matzah in a holy place, in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. It must not be baked with hametz. I have given it as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering and like the trespass offering. Every male among the children of Aaron may eat it, as their portion forever throughout your generations, from the offerings of Adonai made by fire. Whoever touches them will become holy. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they are to offer to Adonai on the day when he is anointed. The 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a continual grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It is to be made with oil on a pan. When it is soaked, you shall bring it in. You are to present the grain offering in baked pieces as a soothing aroma to Adonai. The anointed Kohen who will be in his place from among his sons is to offer it. As an eternal statute, it must be entirely burnt up as smoke to Adonai. Thus every grain offering of a Kohen is to be a whole offering. It shall not be eaten. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the sin offering is to be slaughtered before Adonai. It is most holy. The Kohen who offers it for sin shall eat it. It must be eaten in a holy place, in the court of the tent of meeting. Whatever touches its flesh will be holy. When any of its blood is splattered on a garment, you are to wash it in a holy place. But the earthen vessel in which it is boiled is to be broken, and if it is boiled in a bronze vessel, it is to be scored, then rinsed in water. Every male among the Kohanim is to eat of it. It is most holy. But no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place is to be eaten. It must be burned up with fire. Chapter 7. This is the Torah of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they slaughter the burnt offering, he is to slaughter the trespass offering, and he is to splash its blood around on the altar. He shall offer all of its fat, the fat tail and the fat that covers the innards, along with the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, plus the cover on the liver that he is to remove with the kidneys. Then the Kohen shall burn them up as smoke on the altar for an offering made by fire to Adonai. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the Kohanim may eat it. It is to be eaten in a holy place. It is most holy. As is the sin offering, so is the trespass offering. There is one Torah for them. They are for the Kohen who makes atonement with them. The Kohen who offers anyone's burnt offering, the Kohen is to have for himself the hide of the burnt offering which he has offered. every meal offering that is baked in the oven, and all that is prepared on the flat plate on the pan, is to belong to the Kohen who offers it. Every grain offering, whether mixed with oil or dry, belongs to all the sons of Aaron equally. Now this is the Torah of the sacrifice of fellowship offerings which may be offered to Adonai. If he brings it for a thanksgiving, then he is to present with the sacrifice of thanksgiving matzah cakes mixed with oil, matzah wafers anointed with oil, and fine flour cakes mixed with oil. He is to present his offering with the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings for thanksgiving, along with cakes of bread with chametz. From each he is to offer one out of every offering as a gift to Adonai. It will belong to the Kohen who sprinkles the blood of the fellowship offerings. The meat of the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings for thanksgiving is to be eaten on the day of his offering. He is not to leave any of it until the morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering is a vow or a free will offering, it is to be eaten on the day that he offers his sacrifice. On the next day, what remains of it may be eaten. But what remains of the meat of the sacrifice on the third day is to be burned up with fire. If any of the meat of the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings is eaten on the third day, it will not be accepted, nor will it be credited to him who offers it. It will be a foul thing, and the soul who eats any from it will bear his own iniquity. The meat that touches any unclean thing is not to be eaten. It is to be burned up with fire. As for the meat, everyone who is clean may eat it. But the soul who eats of the meat of the sacrifice of fellowship offerings belongs to Adonai, having his uncleanness on him. That soul is to be cut off from his people. If anyone touches any unclean thing, whether the uncleanness of man or an unclean animal, or any unclean detestable thing, and eats some of the meat of the sacrifice of fellowship offerings belonging to Adonai, that soul is to be cut off from his people. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Bnei Israel, saying, you are to eat no fat of a bull or sheep or goat. The fat of a dead animal and the fat of a torn animal may be used for any other service, but you must not eat it. For if anyone eats the fat of the animal from which an offering is made by fire to Adonai, then the soul who eats it is to be cut off from his people. You are not to eat any blood, whether it is from a bird or an animal, in any of your dwellings. Whoever it is who consumes any blood, that soul is to be cut off from his people." Then Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Bnei Israel, saying, whoever brings the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings to Adonai is to present his offering to Adonai out of the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings. With his own hands he is to bring Adonai's offerings by fire. He is to present the fat with the breast, so that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before Adonai. The Kohen is to burn up the fat as smoke on the altar, but the breast will belong to Aaron and his sons. The right thigh you are to give to the Kohen for a contribution out of the sacrifices of your fellowship offerings. The one among Aaron's sons who offers the blood of the fellowship offerings and the fat is to have the right thigh for a portion. For the breast of the wave offering and the thigh contribution I have taken from Bnei Israel out of the sacrifices of their fellowship offerings, and have given them to Aaron the Kohen and to his sons as their portion forever from Bnei Israel. This is the anointed portion of Aaron and the anointed portion of his sons out of the offerings of Adonai made by fire on the day when he presented them to serve Adonai in the office of Kohen. Adonai commanded these to be given to them from Bnei Israel on the day that he anointed them. It is their portion forever throughout their generations. This is the Torah of the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, the ordination offering, and the sacrifice of fellowship offerings, which Adonai commanded Moses at Mount Sinai, on the day he commanded Bnei Israel to present their offerings to Adonai in the wilderness of Sinai. Chapter 8. Then Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Take Aaron and his sons with him, the garments, the anointing oil, the bull of the sin offering, the 2 rams, and the basket of matzot. Then assemble all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting." So Moses did as Adonai commanded him. When the congregation was assembled at the entrance of the tent of meeting, Moses said to the congregation, "This is what Adonai has commanded to be done." Moses brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. He put the tunic on Aaron, tied the sash on him, clothed him with the robe, put the ephod on him, and tied the skillfully decorated sash of the ephod around him and fastened it on him. He then placed the breastplate on Aaron, and inside the breastplate he put the Urim and the Thummim. He set the turban on his head, and on front of the turban he set the golden plate, the holy crown, just as Adonai commanded Moses. Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was in it, and so consecrated them. He sprinkled the oil on the altar 7 times and anointed the altar and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, to consecrate them. He poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head and anointed him to consecrate him. Then Moses brought Aaron's sons and clothed them with tunics, tied sashes on them, and fastened headbands on them, as Adonai had commanded Moses. Then he brought the bull of the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull of the sin offering. Moses then slaughtered it, took the blood, and dabbed it onto the horns of the altar with his finger, and so purified the altar. Then he poured out the blood at the base of the altar and consecrated it to make atonement for it. He then took all the fat that was on the innards, the cover of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and burned it up as smoke on the altar. But the bull and its hide, its flesh and its dung, he burned with fire outside the camp as Adonai had commanded. He then presented the ram of the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. Then Moses slaughtered it and splashed the blood around on the altar. After he cut the ram into its pieces, Moses burned the head and the pieces and the fat. He washed the innards and the legs with water. Then Moses burned the whole ram up in smoke on the altar. It was a burnt offering for a soothing aroma, an offering by fire to Adonai, as Adonai had commanded Moses. Then he presented the second ram, the ram of ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. Moses slaughtered it, took some of its blood, and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the great toe of his right foot. Then Moses brought Aaron's sons and put some of the blood on the tips of their right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the great toes of their right feet. Then Moses splashed the blood around on the altar. He took the fat tail, and all the fat that was on the innards, as well as the cover of the liver, the 2 kidneys with their fat, and the right thigh. Then out of the basket of matzah that was before Adonai he took 1 matzah cake, 1 cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer, and placed them on the fat and on the right thigh. He put all these in Aaron's hands and in the hands of his sons, and waved them for a wave offering before Adonai. Then Moses took them from their hands and burned them up in smoke on the altar with the burnt offering. They were a consecration for a soothing aroma. It was an offering by fire to Adonai. Moses took the breast and waved it for a wave offering before Adonai. It was Moses' portion of the ram of ordination, just as Adonai commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood which was on the altar, and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garments, and on his sons, and on his sons' garments with him. So he consecrated Aaron, his garments, his sons, and his sons' garments with him. Moses then said to Aaron and to his sons, "Boil the meat at the entrance of the tent of meeting and eat it there, along with the bread that is in the basket of ordination, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it. What remains of the meat and of the bread you shall burn with fire. You are not to go out from the entrance of the tent of meeting for 7 days, until the days of your ordination are fulfilled, for he will be filling your hands for 7 days. What has been done this day, Adonai has commanded to be done, in order to make atonement for you. You are to stay at the entrance of the tent of meeting day and night for 7 days, and keep Adonai's commands, so that you do not die, for so I have been commanded." Thus Aaron and his sons did all the things that Adonai commanded through Moses. Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 21 to chapter 8 verse 3. Thus says Adonai Tzvaot, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat the meat. For on the day that I brought your fathers out of the land of Egypt, I did not speak to them, nor did I command them concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices. But I explicitly commanded them, obey my voice, and I will be your God to you, and you will be my people. Walk in all the ways that I command you, that it may go well with you. But they did not listen or pay attention. Instead, they followed their own counsel in the stubbornness of their evil heart. They have gone backward and not forward, from the day your fathers left the land of Egypt until today. Although I sent to you all my servants the prophets, daily and persistently, they did not listen to me or pay attention. Rather, they stiffened their neck, doing more evil than their fathers. When you tell them all these things, they will not listen to you. When you call to them, they will not answer you. So you will say to them, this nation has not obeyed the voice of Adonai their God, or received correction. Truth has perished and is cut off from their mouth. Cut off your hair and throw it away, and take up a lamentation on the barren hills. For Adonai has spurned and cast off the generation of his wrath. The children of Judah have done what is evil in my sight. It is a declaration of Adonai. They have set their detestable things in the house that bears my name to defile it. They have built the high places of Topheth in the valley of Ben Hinnom to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it even enter my mind. Therefore, the days are soon coming, declares Adonai, when it will no longer be called Topheth, nor the valley of Ben Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. For they will bury in Topheth until there is no room. The carcasses of this people will be food for the birds of the sky and for the beasts of the earth, and no one will frighten them away. Then I will bring an end from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem to the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land will be desolate. At that time it is a declaration of Adonai. The bones of the kings of Judah and the bones of his princes, the bones of the Kohanim and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem will be brought out of their graves. They will spread them out to the sun, the moon, and all the hosts of heaven, which they have loved and served, and after which they have walked and sought, and which they have worshipped. They will not be gathered or buried, but will be like dung on the face of the earth. So death will be chosen rather than life by all the remnant that remains of this evil family that remains in all the places to which I have driven them. It is a declaration of Adonai Tzvaot. Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 22 to 23. Thus says Adonai, let not the wise boast in his wisdom, nor the mighty boast in his might, nor the rich glory in his riches. But let one who boasts boast in this, that he understands and knows me. For I am Adonai, who exercises loving kindness, justice, and righteousness on earth. For in these things I delight. It is a declaration of Adonai. Hebrews chapter 9, verses 11 to 28. But when Messiah appeared as Kohen Gadol of the good things that have now come, passing through the greater and more perfect tent, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this creation, he entered into the holies once for all, not by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, having obtained eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a heifer, sprinkling those who have been defiled, sanctify for the cleansing of the flesh, how much more will the blood of Messiah, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, cleanse our conscience from dead works to serve the living God? For this reason he is the mediator of a new covenant, in order that those called may receive the promised eternal inheritance, since a death has taken place that redeems them from violations under the first covenant. For where there is a covenant, the death of the one who made it must be established. For a covenant is secured upon the basis of dead bodies, since it has no strength as long as the one who made it lives. That is why not even the first covenant was inaugurated without blood. For when every commandment had been spoken by Moses to all the people according to the Torah, he took the blood of the calves and goats, with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and he sprinkled both the book itself and all the people. He said, "This is the blood of the covenant which God commanded you." And in the same way he sprinkled the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry with the blood. And nearly everything is purified in blood according to the Torah, and apart from the shedding of blood there is no forgiveness. Therefore it was necessary for the replicas of these heavenly things to be purified with these sacrifices, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Messiah did not enter into holies made with hands, counterparts of the true things, but into heaven itself, now to appear in God's presence on our behalf. And he did not offer himself again and again as the Kohen Gadol enters into the Holy of Holies year after year with blood that is not his own. For then he would have needed to suffer again and again from the foundation of the world. But as it is, he has been revealed once and for all, the close of the ages, to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And just as it is appointed for men to die once and after this judgment, so also Messiah was offered once to bear the sins of many. He will appear a second time, apart from sin, to those eagerly awaiting him for salvation.